Oh, yeah. Hey, oh, mute was so. That's got to be my mic on this one. Hot mic, hot mic.
Recording in progress.
Oh, yeah. Oh, what is the what? What's the push for? But got it. Oh, it's 7:02.
Batting.
There we go. 7:02. Call the December 2024. December 2024 meeting of the Board of Library Trustees to order. Test. So the first order, it's got to be that. First order of business tonight. Do we have anybody online for public comment or in person? That one's, I think it's that. This is.
Is it? No one for comment.
Okay, next order of business is the local history and archives update.
How's this? Okay. All right, I'll just use this. So Jocelyn Gold, our local history librarian, along with Amy and I, put together these slides. Well, Jocelyn did the slides, and Amy and I did some of the narration and content. Um, so what do we do in local history? Our goals are to protect the irreplaceable record of Reading and to connect people to those collections and histories of those who came before. When we renovated and reopened in 2016, Amy and former local history librarian Eileen Barrett wrote and were awarded a preservation grant, which advanced practices. And we've come a long way in those 8 years since we opened. Sorry, I'm going to have to keep this right in front of my face. When we hired our new local history librarian, Jocelyn, in 2022, we prioritized increasing access and connection, as well as expanding our understanding of local history to include not only recent colonial history, but also the history of Native people and everyone who's called Reading home throughout the decades. newspaper. Before that, we used microfilm. We still have the microfilm, but we've been moving away from it. Since we digitized, there have been nearly 64,000 visitors to the site with an average engagement time of over 23 minutes per visit, meaning people are researching and hopefully finding the content they're interested in. Process costs $90,000, which breaks down to about $1.40 per visit. Amy did the math in her head in a meeting with Jocelyn and I. We were very impressed. I did it on a calculator just to make sure she was right. Yep. So as we've moved away from searching the microfilm, which is very clunky if you've ever used it, we've really increased the accessibility and efficiency of our local paper. Next slide, please. So like I said, we're doing more programming around local history and history in general. And one of the really successful ongoing services we've launched in the last couple of years is one-on-one appointments with Jocelyn to research patrons' genealogy. We've had over 60 patrons come to sessions since August of 2022. This high-touch, impactful service has produced glowing feedback, such as, I am ecstatic to have received all this wonderful detailed information, so happy. You provide a terrific service to Reading residents. I want you to know how much I appreciate the time you spent with me. It inspired me to do more research and put together my family tree. Thank you so much for all the links and suggestions. I will reach out to you for further discussions and guidance as I pursue this new interest. You also make this process a lot of fun. I've given you all Jocelyn's card so that you can schedule your own genealogy one-on-one if you want to, or have a family member come in and do it for you. Next slide, please. So as Jocelyn has inventoried the local history collection, we found plenty of ephemera and just things that were loosely kept. And as you see in the top left corner, there's a postcard to a World War I soldier from his mother, Harriet Hill, of 32 Bancroft Road, which reads, "Keep up your courage and do your best, love, mother." And in the bottom corner, we see a postcard that has postcard collections in it. And Jocelyn's flipping through it there, and you can see the old Highland School and the old firehouse and other Reading locations. Next slide, please. So to better preserve these sort of loose items and ephemera, we're making sure items are properly stored. We're continuing programming efforts. We just wrapped up a couple-year project, a seed beading community workshop that we had over 7 sessions maybe, where the participants worked on their own jewelry and then created a whole set of the squaw sachem of the Massachusetts tribe, who was the leader of the tribe around the time the colonists came to eastern Massachusetts. And it's a headband, earrings, and a necklace. And those items right now are on display up by the Research and Reader Services desk. But in the future, we'll put them in a shadow box and keep them in the studio so that people can always visit them. The idea was to have something that could be housed in the library that would show history before Reading was established as a colonial town. And that seed beading project was led by the Massachusetts tribal artist and educator Thomas Green. We also have purchased these maps. The large maps are of what is now the United States. On the left-hand side, you see the kind of pre-colonial, pre-Indian removal period of what is now the US, with all of the proper tribal names and nations and territories. So that's from about 1580s to the 1800s. And on the right-hand side, you see which tribes have any land designated as sovereign land left in what is now the US. So you see a very dramatic difference. We're just using these as sort of educational stuff, but on this lower, smaller map is going to permanently be housed in the local history room, and it is a map of current Massachusetts and all of the tribes that have called Massachusetts home, to the best of our knowledge. We also have had a big project going on to transfer a lot of our digital data from the Internet Archives to Archives Advantage, which is where the Reading Chronicle has been housed. And we're doing that because it's a much more stable web-based service, and because there is customer service attached to us. So we've been happy with the Reading Chronicle, and this will help us preserve the access to this resource. Amy, do you have anything else you want to say about that, or does anyone have questions about that process? Next slide, please. And these are just a few more projects that we've been up to: expanding access to genealogy books, rehousing collections and removing plastic and acidic items, uploading collections to the Digital Commonwealth via the Boston Public Library, continuing to update the Chronicle database, and researching unique stories and people from Reading. Anyone have any questions? Yeah, you could see it well enough. Good.
Which side of the street was that?
What side of the street? Is that a Cherry question?
Side of the street.
Oh, you were looking at that title slide with the, yeah, okay. I thought you were looking at those little book of postcards. It's like,
No,
oh.
no, no. Well, I recognize those places too, probably, but the first one was very interesting and brought back memories.
I think that was a little before your time, though.
And then, but the stores were still there in my time, so
Looking at that car.
although Woolworths opened, so it wasn't before my time.
Okay, now we're moving on to something I'm much more comfortable with. Winter programming and services. If you'll pull that slide deck up, please. All right, so winter quarter for us, programming-wise, runs December through February. Next slide, please. This is just some highlights of programs that are already underway, actually. Baby Snowball is a dress-up dance party for littles. Cryptid Club is mythical creatures for 3rd through 5th grade. Mara and Motoko are part of our effort to increase our family young children concert series, because Peter Sheridan has been so epically popular, but we really wanted to diversify and just add more content. And they're local, and we hope to have them back, multiple times a year, kind of like Peter Sheridan. Miss Rita Mystery Reader, we have 2 authors coming for an author visit in January. We have Tweens Cook with the Kids Test Kitchen coming up. For teens, we just last week had a drone coding workshop where kids programmed mini drones and flew them across the community room. And this week we have a K-pop crafting workshop. We're adding in a tabletop games meetup for teens. And our traditional exam cram for midterms is coming up in January, I believe. And that is usually very well attended with teens studying for the most part. For adults, we have a lot of series in the works. We have folk dancing series. We found out that the New England Folk Art Society is founded right here in Stoneham. And so we reached out to them and said, hey, could we partner with you? And we are going to try a folk dancing series, and that's actually going to be at the Unitarian Church, I think. Have nice wooden floors. We also have an ever-popular chair yoga series, a gardening series with Demetra Tesaris, who's doing our landscaping for our grant. She's going to be talking about how to create these like mini gardens that we have here at the library, the sensory garden, the pollinator garden, and a raised bed garden we have up on our patio, how to recreate those at home. And we have a fabulous pop strings ensemble called Speechless for an adult concert series. Rooted in Reading grant got underway in the fall, but we're really starting to go into high gear for programming. This is just a selection of what we're doing over the next 3 months. We have our solstice celebration coming up on solstice, which is the 21st for all ages. We have a talk on the Bay Circuit Trail, felted woodland toadstools craft for teens. I think this week we have climate change photographer Julia Coombs. We have a new moonwalk series, which is led by a children's librarian. They're outdoor evening family walks around town. We have a couple of gardening talks, one on attracting monarch butterflies and another on native plants and pollinator gardens. We're keeping going with Plant Lab, which teaches children hands-on gardening in our raised bed patio. And then we've also added in a Winter Wonders school-age science series. And that's, again, just a selection. Next. Okay, so some new stuff and some stuff we're renewing. The Teen Advisory Group. We've rebooted it this year after a year or so off. This time it was a selective process by application rather than just sort of a meetup. We focused on an older pool. We only admitted kids 8th grade and up. We made sure that it fulfills volunteer hour requirements for school and faith groups, teaches job skills, fosters relationships, and touches on rooted and Reading themes. So we kind of did a deep dive with the Teen Advisory Group to try to make it meaningful for the library and for the teens involved. And so far, it's going well. We also added a STEM series with a teenager who came to us who said she wanted to lead these science, technology, engineering, math programs for other teens. We're rebooting Livewires, which was a series that was for retirees and beyond. We haven't really stopped doing those sorts of programs at any point. We've always had programs that we thoughtfully designed for older adults, but for some reason people really loved the name Livewires and have been asking about it for years, so we're just giving them what they want. We have a new nonfiction book group, The Real Story, and we are in the process of developing a new passive intergenerational program that right now we're calling Shelf Joy, which is going to be designed to kind of throw in an element of delight as people travel through the library, and sort of like a scavenger hunt, but not prizes and not competitive, just for fun. And we will have some grant themes and help folks connect to all of the plantings that we have in the library. Next slide, please. All right, Friends Speaker Series. So we're about 6 months in now. Winter program highlights include thriller writer Laura Dave, who's presenting this Wednesday. Linguist and podcaster Amanda Montell, best-selling fiction author TJ Klune, former Wall Street Journal reporter Lee Hawkins, and these are the titles of the books, the book jackets you're seeing here. And the last one is the Smithsonian Institute Museum of Natural History curator of biological anthropology, Sabrina Schultz, who writes about human disease. So you get a little bit of a taste of how diverse the offerings are. People are finding and watching this content. Looking at the viewing statistics a month after author talks are posted, the majority have 70 or 80 views. 13 authors have had over 100 views and counting. It ticks up really every day. Viewing parties and discussions were facilitated at the library residence at Pearl Street and Pleasant Street Center over the last few months, and each of these viewing events is counted as only one view. So, we might have 20 people in the room or 40 people in the room, but it's only registering as one view. So it's really the stats are even higher. And in a Friend Speaker Series first, we had a dual language authors talk. Javier Zamora presented in both English and Spanish. The Spanish language talk was viewed 25 times, and the English talk was viewed 67 times as of today. But again, just keeps growing. So that's great because it's part of our action plan to do more multi-language kind of content and collections. So that was great to have access to that. Okay, next slide. Questions? Okay.
Hello, my name is Tara Gregory. I live on Pleasant Street, but I am married to Andrew Gregory, who is sitting on the board. So I was one of two people that worked for over 13 months to bring this ad hoc committee to fruition. And I worked with the former town manager, Fidel Maltez, along with former and current select board members. I'm a member of CATO, the Coalition of Us, which is a social justice organization that focuses on education and empowering Black and brown people in our community. I am also a member of Partners and Allies for Inclusive Reading, Office of Equity and Social Justice, very committed to social justice and racial justice work. Care that everyone in our community feels safe, heard, and recognized for their contribution to our community, big or small. The main goal I would like to see achieved by the ACE committee is to acknowledge the experiences that Bill Russell had in Reading and educate our community on how to be better neighbors. If this past election has shown us anything, it's that we need to work together, regardless of identity or political affiliation, when we have a common set of goals that we're all working towards. If chosen as the designee, I am committed to attending both meetings to give updates on the work of the... Are there any questions that you may have?
So, following last meeting, I attended the select board meeting in November where they were going to
No, it was mostly the voting aspect. Yeah, basically the associate members were brought in to make sure that the committee would always have quorum and that we wouldn't have issues of we're not able to meet because we don't have enough people.
board members.
Awesome, I appreciate that, thank you. I'm going to use this microphone, but my understanding is there's still audio difficulties with it. So, not sure for your great presentation, Andrea. The fiscal year 25 update, everything's running smoothly. Expenses and materials are expected to be, or where they're expected to be. One thing I just did want to note is that the report that I'm giving you doesn't include any of the expenditure for the actual grant. The $20,000 that's being reported on separately to this, and it has all these reporting requirements, and I can get that to you at some point, but right now it's a very small amount of money. Some of the bills that you're signing for are for in-kind services to that grant, because they gave us with the understanding that we would be supplementing that through state aid and gifts, etc. Thank you very much to the foundation for their gift of $10,000. Pat, do you want to say anything about that, or? Nope, okay. And that's it for the financial report. I present to the select board for FY26 tomorrow. I am first. Yeah, it goes to the library first. It's a short agenda. Most of the big budgets went last week. DPW, fire, police, health went last week, and then public services and administrative services went last week. Any other questions about money?